I have a unique niggle. Are you a single parent? Did you go and spend $15,000 on a divorce? Were you a single parent from the day that your baby was born? When your baby was 2 years old, did your partner leave you to live with another person? You did. Well, you will relate to my story. So my son's, he's over the 4 year mark just recently. He sees his mother twice a month, which I'm happy. I want him to see his mother. I want her to be healthy. I want her to be well. I want him to see her in the best way he can. But before I give you this information, let me describe what it was like. So, I was with his mother for 10 years. The last year of our relationship, I couldn't take it anymore. Okay. And I'm not going to describe all her mental illness and other issues. And I have issues. I've talked about my issues. I couldn't take it. She had gone off the deep end. Well, we didn't know that she was pregnant with my son. And so, because she didn't have any side effects, she didn't have morning sickness, she actually had light periods for the first 3 months of her pregnancy. And by the time she found out, it was, well, in her world, it was too late. But let me tell you, she constantly reminded me before we found out that she didn't want him. She was going to abort him, that it was over. That's just how it was. And, I'm over 40. I've said this. I never thought I'd be a dad. I'm, I, ne- I never thought I'd be a dad. And if it wasn't for the fact that she had spent 3 months incubating him to where he had a spine and a skeletal system, well, she might have got rid of him, but she didn't because she's decent. And it was too late. So what's the point of my story? The point of my story is she comes to me. Now, keep in mind, his mother left us. She walked out the door to live with another man about 2 years ago. She said, I hate you talking to me. I'm in love. Fuck you. Bye. And she literally walked out the door. She walked out the door and left me and him, my son, behind. Some other things happened. Um, she tried to falsify police records to get me arrested for assault, which ended up. So here's the full story. She ended up becoming arrested herself because it was shown that she was the aggressor. And she was charged with, I believe it was domestic violence in the second degree in my state, which is a pretty serious charge. And I decided I want my son to have a mother. And if my son's mother goes to jail, she'll lose her state job and she will likely become homeless or living with some, I don't even know where she would be. And that's not good for my son. It might have made me feel, I might have felt, I don't know what I'd have felt. I don't think I'd have felt good because I'm not a piece of shit, even though my channel is called the niggler, and I get it. It's a whole joke, but I'm not a monster. So I had the charges dropped. And to have the charges dropped, by the way, I had to go and take a class where I was one of two men out of 60 women, where they showed us videos of actual dead women. Let me repeat, actual dead women who were beaten to death by some kind of monster. And the goal of the video and the goal of the class was to make sure that we're making the right decision, that we're not dropping charges, and that we're not being victims. It really was awful. And so I sat in a conference room with the assistant DA or assistant of the assistant, whatever. I said, look, please drop these charges. They're a joke. My ex tried to have me arrested. The whole thing was a joke. She didn't physically really assault me. She just played the system. She just did. She played the system. Please, for the welfare of my son, let this go. I had to go through all of this. I had detective interviews. I mean, I went through the ringer. It was scary. It was actually scary because I didn't know the outcome of any of this. As a man, I assumed I was going down. I didn't know. Prior to the class. This is prior to the class. By the point I was in a class, I knew that I wasn't, going down. My timeline's fucked up in this story. I'm sorry. So, she comes to tell me that his mother tells me that with the man that she left us for, who knew he was cheating, he knew that she was married, not just with, we were married, that they fucked up, and now she's pregnant. Now she's pregnant. And so I was real with her. I was like, do you think he's going to sacrifice the way I sacrifice with you and take care of things? Do you think that when you have postpartum the way you did before, and in her defense, it's not her fault, but it was severe. I mean, she was literally texting me how she was going to put my son in the hallway because she couldn't handle it anymore. I was like, do you think he's going to be there for you the way I was? Like, seriously? Again, I'm not, you don't know me. I get it. But trust me when I tell you, I have sacrificed my whole livelihood. For my son, no problem. All day long. I don't want an award. I don't even give a shit if I'm recognized. Fuck you. But when it comes to her, I sacrificed it all. We were together 10 years. I gave it to her all. And so she's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, well, what does he think? Now I'm having to talk to her about the man she left me for. Like, I really care, but it matters. I care about his mother's well being. I care. Her well being matters for the health of my son. He matters. He's the most priority. He's the ultimate priority in everything. She's like, well, he's excited. Did you plan this? No, I was on antibiotics. For anyone out there who's single parent, and I'm assuming that I'm talking to mostly women, which is, it can't be all women, but I'm sure I am. And you have a man in your life that left you and is banging some hoe and then comes to you years later and they barely see your child. I mean, barely, just once, barely. And they go, oh, I got her pregnant. Well, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? And if you're decent and have character and you have empathy and you just suffer over stuff in life for other people, you tell them if you need to talk, talk to me. But you know better. They're not going to talk to you, you know, because you're the monster in the life, right? So here I am, folks. The point of my story. This should be on another channel, right? I shouldn't be doing this on this channel. I should I should be talking about being a single parent on a different channel. But it's so fresh, I had to talk about it. And and this is what my phone looks like. And I don't have anyone that I can talk to because my fucking phone, a Google phone, has blue dye covering the whole thing. So here I am making videos. Niggle out, baby.